In life, we have seasons of certainty and uncertainty, just like seasons in nature. And in these uncertain times, how we choose to respond, whether we choose to respond with force or whether we choose to respond with power, defines our next moment. Sajni here. And before I begin this video, I want to quickly announce that you can book your free one-to-one consultation with me for the Reality Revolution program. So stick around till the end of the video for a detailed announcement on how you can enroll yourself. So with that, let's get right into the video. So today, we're going to talk about the seasons of certainty and uncertainty, just like the seasons in nature. And nature has the winter and the summer and the autumn, monsoon, and all of the seasons follow, and it's like a cycle. It goes on and on and on and on, right? We just can't choose to just continue to have summer because we like summer, or we can't choose to only have winter because we like to have only winter. So it's always a cycle. It's the cycle of life, keeps rotating, and it keeps evolving. And during these times as well in our lives, we go through certain uncertain periods and certain periods. And these are like a cycle. And how we navigate on the uncertain times defines a certain times. And how we define in the low moments define the high moments. And that's exactly how we need to be able to manage these uncertain moments. And it's that important for us to be able to manage those uncertain and the low points even better. So let's look at what is the best way to deal with uncertainty. And you and I know, we all have gone through that. I have gone through my fair share of going through a downhill moments in my life. And those moments, when I navigated through those moments, defined my level of my certain times. And so the key elements that we will take away and discuss in this video. I have seen in my own life that whenever I have, in those uncertain times, whenever I have taken those leap of faith, whenever I have trusted the flow, rather than resisting, and rather than trying to be a victim of why me, or why is this uncertain, or trying to fear those moments, or trying to control everything. And when I shifted into that energy of being relaxed and being in an expanded energy, and trying to embrace everything, and trying to see what life is trying to teach me in these moments, and trying to take the lessons from them, evolving on those moments, those are the times that I have been rewarded. And that is why if you keep your focus long enough on your intention, life has no option but to unfold that reality for you. And the majority of the times, what we see is when we have the seasons, just like seasons in nature, the certainty times we accept with openness. The certain times, the high times, happiness times, we are always there. We are happy. We don't hype it. We don't have gratitude for it too much. But the moment there is something wrong or something mishap happens, then we are quick to announce that. And that's why when the uncertain times comes, we reject that instantly, we resist that instantly, we want to get over that instantly, and we continue to control, because we want to control every event, because we have a fear of not being able to stay in uncertainty. We have a fear of being in unknown territory. We do not like to be not in control. And that is inherently the problem, and that is inherently what life wants to teach us, to evolve us, to grow us in our grounding, to grow us in our trust, to grow us in our faith. And that defines a lot of our choices, a lot of our results in our lives. And that I've seen it with utmost sincerity. And I've seen that whenever we try to resist something, it's coming from a place of lack of trust in the flow of life. Why? Because sometime in the past, maybe it's coming from a past experience, a past memory, that whenever some similar situations you might have gone through, you might not have had the best outcome, and therefore you are trying to replicate that same memory into your current memory or into your future memory. And therefore it's like bringing your past onto your future. But it's not always like that. We just have to reinvent our beliefs and re-evolve or reinvent our identity or the labeling of those viewing of that situation. When we do that, what we upgrade our view of our reality, the reality reflects in a new way. And that is exactly how it evolves. But if we continue to view it in the same lens of, this is what happened, maybe so and so 5 years, 6 years, or maybe I had a bad relationship chain of bad relationship, and now I'm going to enter a new relationship, and the same thing is going to happen. If we go with the same lens, with a new enter into a new reality, then that is the same energy that we bring into. And that is why it's important to let go of the old energy. And that is why when we try to resist this, is because somewhere, sometime in the past, we have had a bad experience, and that's why we resist that. We don't trust that this is somehow going to be for the best of interest for us. But the best way is to open up and have that leap of faith that somewhere there's potential. Set that intention and go with the flow of the intention, immerse in the process of intention, embody that energy that you want to bring into your experience. And that is what I found to be the most effective in manifestation. And last but not the least is a lot of uncertainty in those periods when we resist. It creates a lot of suffering, because ideally it's the two ways that we can choose to respond, whether with force or whether with power. When we try to force things at those times, when life wants us to go downhill at this point in time, for us to be able to easily reach this goal, what we do is we go against the force, against the tide of nature, and that's why we want to reach this goal with full force. We don't want to back down, because we've been taught, we've been conditioned to never back down and never surrender, right? Because that is kind of like shown as a weakness. But inherently, the old yogic and ancient texts always confirms about the fact that even abhyasa and vairagya, right? The balance between effort and surrender. So that's why. So that there is always a season. There is always a yin and a yang, and an effort and a surrender, a doing and a being, a certainty and uncertainty. We need to know exactly when we need to let the flow, let the current flow, and let the unstable energy pass by, and not try to struggle and fight on those times. And those define our key moments of how life unfolds for us. And this is something that I learned the hard way, right? And so at this point, so either we choose to respond with force, we try to go against the tide, or we choose to remain in our power at those times. Step back, reflect, and let those winter times, just go into your cocoon on those winter times. Let your guard down, surrender, and let life take on at those times. Because it's like using that same tide to now help you take you to that goal faster and more effortlessly. And that is what meaning of manifesting with ease and effortless. Manifesting is nothing but bringing your inner energy or inner resolve, inner intention into your reality. Because if you have the resolve strong enough, your conviction strong enough, your intention or energy will unite itself, will maneuver itself to bring itself into the reality. But we need to be able to hold this, whether during certainty or uncertainty times, so that the trajectory goes up and not go up, and then when uncertain times come, we fall. And that doesn't happen. That's why manifestation does not happen. We have to be able to be patient with the process. And so here are some of the keys that will help us navigate in these uncertain times in the best way. Whether it is a COVID time that we've had, so many of us have lost our jobs, lost our family members, lost so much of around surroundings. Even I have been in a journey of my own evolution in these times. So all of us are going through certain kind of evolution, certain kind of a journey that we have to be able to shed, certain attachments that we have to be able to let go. And these are the uncertain times that helps us when we start to look at uncertain times as a blessing, something that we can evolve, something that has a potential, something that we can turn it around. And that is a time that we try to seek for answers, and it has a potential to evolve us. Times we are in openness, we are in an open state of receiving, because uncertainty is something that we just leap into that faith of life and say, okay, we are open to receiving from life, and say, okay, what is the best way to maneuver through this, rather than trying to use our small conscious mind to try to navigate everything, trying to control everything, trying to freak out about everything, trying to everything, because life knows best what is best for us. But our lack of trust in life kind of wrecks everything. We want to be able to maneuver through these times, and maneuver when things are not going your way. That is the time you need to step back, being open to everything, attached to nothing. And this is one of the most powerful lines that I always keep whenever there is something, some energy or some unstable things happening. This is very powerful, Be open to everything, attached to nothing. Because at the end of the day, we know that nature, season, or problems, or good days or bad days, everything is impermanent. Nothing is permanent. Everything passes. And the idea is to experience life fully, whether it is good or bad, because inherently every situation is is neutral, but it's the lens that we view is how we view as a good or a bad, or a low or a high, or a nothing or is a high or a low, or nothing is a good or bad. It's experience. We're here to experience every event, and through that, uncertain times, through the low times, we are wanting to evolve our inner consciousness, evolve our soul, right? And that is why we need to be able to navigate these through uncertain times with a wider awareness, with a wider openness, with more flexibility, with more potential, and that energy, let that energy sink in, rather than being sucked into the energy of what didn't go well. Rather than look at the potential of what can go well, and see and look, and you will get those ideas, or those moments where you will get those epiphanies to be able to resolve it in the best possible way if you are still enough. Rather than trying to handle it all by yourself, let life take its course sometimes. So that is the idea of effort and surrender, to be able to do that. And this is the most magnificent and most powerful key principles, which in this day and age we fail to completely overlook this, and that's why there's so much of suffering, there's so much of pain, and there's so much of wrecking that happens because of this. And all of us go through our journey, of course, because every suffering that we go through is also a learning, it's an evolution for our soul to be able to experience that and then evolve through our journey. We are aware, now we can choose whether we want to choose force or power. We want to remain in our power and have the leap of faith to be able to transcend and evolve and keep going to a new energy, keep embodying a new energy. So the uncertain times are for to seek answers, to receive, to evolve. And the certain times when we know the answers, when we are on the high level, those are times to give. So always the receiving follows the giving, the receiving, giving. So there's a cycle. So always there has to be a channel. Has to be a channel. We navigate through certain times. When you go through bad days, we say, I will never do this, or I shall do this. But when the good times come, again we forget about the uncertain times, we forget about the bad times, and then again we go back to a normal habit. But the idea is to take the lessons and make sure that even when the certain times are there, we continue to evolve from there and not forget the lessons that we've taken up. Right? So I hope this was helpful for you, and let's do a quick recap of what we've discussed so far. So today we've discussed that during uncertain times, there is a season of certainty and uncertainty we all go through. There is high time and low time for all of us. There is nothing to fret about, when we are in low times and we see others. Again, comparison is again another great blunder. Right? Whenever we're in a low time, comparing ourselves with others, or whenever in a high time, comparing somebody else who is going through a tough time, that is not the way that we need to look at. When we inherently be in our own space, be in our own power, whatever period we're going through, certain or uncertain, high or low, whatever it is, if you're able to navigate through this with an open heart, with a giving and receiving, channeling our energy in the right way, and being open to everything and trusting life, because you know that whenever your thought, emotion, actions, and a belief and identity are in line with your intentions, when you channel it properly, then everything that you want, intend, will manifest. It's just a matter of time, because it will arrange and rearrange the material, and the energies will rearrange itself and show itself in form. It's just need to be patient with life, right? So therefore, when you focus on something long enough, life has no choice but to give that to you. But life will test us. Life will give us uncertain times, because the season, the summer, there is always no summer season, or no always autumn season, or no spring season throughout, because we like that season. It's because just like it's our own view. Some may like the spring season, some may like the winter season, some may like the summer, some may like the autumn. So every person is viewing reality through their own lens, and it's we need to be able to know that this is a cycle. This is a cycle. It's a phase that we need to let go. So whenever there is a low point, there is a high point as well. Even in the high points, you remain calm. You remain in your power, and that's why we choose whether do you want to use force or you use power to respond to these situations. Because when we use force, we are trying to go against the tide, and we're trying to create a lot of friction, and that friction creates a lot of loop in our events, because again, till the time we don't learn the lessons, it'll keep coming back into a loop again and again and again. And when we choose a power, we try to relax into that situation and try to dissolve those resistance, and try to use that same tide to move us through the goal faster, because nature tries to take the path of least resistance. So if you flow with life and flow with nature, then you will get to the goal faster, versus we trying to control everything and trying to get to the certainty and trying to crash into life and nature. It doesn't work like that, right? And we all learn our hard lessons. I have learned my key lessons very, very well, because I was a person who always used to, we've been conditioned that, you need to take action, no surrender, no reflection, no going into our, growing our awareness, nothing about consciousness. There's nothing such like that. There's only hard matter and mind, right? Even mind is something that we hardly talk about or manage, because we don't see mind as something which is separate from us. We see mind as a part of us, a body as a part of us. That's the only awareness that we have. And when we start getting our awareness higher than just our body and our mind, and getting to a higher awareness, elevating our mind, like Einstein says, that you can't solve the problem with the same level of mind that you created with. You need to elevate your mind, and that is the awareness of the consciousness. So the more the awareness of the consciousness expands, the more we evolve, the more we stay open and expanded, even in tough times, even in good times, whatever season it is. That is the time that we start seeing life fully, experience life fully, right? And that is the best time to unfold. And the keys to navigate through uncertain times is seeing uncertain times as a blessing, as a time to receive, as a time to seek for answers, as a time for you seeing that as a potential for your growth, and also seeing that as something that will move you to the new energy, and honing your patience, honing your will to go for long-term gratification rather than short-term gratification, right? So with that, I conclude the video. I sincerely hope this was helpful for you. So do leave me a comment below as to what you thought about the video. And if you're new to the channel, do not forget to hit like, comment, subscribe, and hit that little bell icon so that you can be notified every time I put up a new video. So thank you so much for watching. Until next time. What the Mindset and Reality Revolution program really is it's one of the highest paradigm of manifestation. So there are 3 paradigms of manifestation, which is the having, the doing, and the being. So if we get to the being state, or in quantum physics it's also called the identity shifting, because everything is in the state of being and becoming. So when we embody the state of beingness, then naturally the having and the doing falls into place. What I realized in my years of understanding and practicing and manifesting and studying neuroscience and quantum physics, what I understood was that it's never about the techniques, because technique is just the doing paradigm, or wanting to having paradigm, because the more you're wanting to have or want or get, the more you're stuck into that loop. The idea is to elevate into that awareness or that beingness state, where things start to fall into place, your ideas start to come, things start to manifest for you effortlessly, right? Because we learn the principles, or we learn to work with the laws of nature, where we go through the path of least resistance. We understand the universal principles of balancing, of being and doing, action and non-action, effort and surrender. So these are some of the powerful principles which we include in the program that can help you boost your manifestation, boost your awareness, boost your clarity, boost your productivity. So things start to open up for you. And so the Mindset and the Reality Revolution program is designed in such a way that it helps you to elevate to that state, ideal state, or the being state that you envision to become. And therefore you effortlessly attract the things that you want to do or have. I'm also super excited to announce that I started the one-to-one interaction for the premium coaching for the Mindset and Reality Revolution program. And so the enrollment link, I'll leave it in the description and in my Instagram bio. So both the links are there. So I can't wait to have an interaction with you and see how we can work together. So I hope to see you there, and thank you so much for watching. Until next time.